millions watching around the world from the capital city of 1980. It's time for some rap, yeah.
100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land.
People have invaded or been invaded. This is another thing to wipe out the memory of their history until they themselves not only forget, but begin to preach and to propagate the same fictions about themselves that others have propagated.
Well, this is the big one. I'm coming to join you, honey.
All of what we became in our greatness and fell is coming back to us in a whole new format.
It's the Street Dust. And here's the start of our show and your host.
All right. We are back. Normally we'd be doing the astrology report right now with Baby Longway. I think she actually stepped out to go grab something anyway. But we are going to go ahead and get into the meat and the potatoes and the reason we all gathered here today. Okay, so we have my brother in the building, KT, the arts degree teacher extraordinaire, health, wellness, you name it, metaphysics,
ethnobotany, psychonaut.
Oh, talk to the mic.
Psychonaut, vegan chef,
psychonaut. Yes, sir.
Man of many hats, so many pros.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
man of many pros.
Yeah.
I got a lot of questions for vegan eating.
KT,
we could do it.
Yeah. So we gonna get into a bunch of different topics. If anyone out there saw the advertisement that we put up, it's got an array of subjects that this brother is highly versed in. So we're gonna dig into.
I'm excited about it.
Briefly, are you guys
excited?
Okay, cool. So briefly, let's just give people, let you get a chance to just get your stuff off. Just tell people who you are, where you're from, the history, what makes you KT, the arts degree, and maybe tell us how you got the name.
How I got the name, right?
For a while.
Well, first off, I want to thank y'all for this wonderful platform, bringing me on the Hits 92.3.
Oh, yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I want to definitely be able to represent for y'all. You know, thank you for the support of the platform. My name is KT, the arts degree. The K stands for Kamani and T stands for Tate, which is my father's name, who is the poet laureate of Harlem. He passed a couple of years ago, but he was second only to Langston Hughes.
Okay.
The arts degree was given to me by my brothers Red Pill and Blue Pill of cyber world fame. Everybody knows who they are. And they was like, they twins. So they was like, we the twin pillars. So you the arts degree. You know what I mean? You complete the doorway, you complete the threshold, the opening. You know what I mean? So I got my name. That's how you get nicknames. You ain't supposed to name yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? You get named. So my brothers named me that way. Now, in regards to my Sebi connection, like I said, my biological father is George Edward Tate. Powerful. He was called the Lion of Harlem. If you go up to Harlem and say my father's name to any elder, and I do mean any elder, they're gonna be like, yo, yeah, I know Tate. Like, that's what they're gonna say. However, my mother, when she was pregnant with me, moved from Harlem. She was born in Harlem. We all know her as Mama Pill. Shout out to Mama Pill. She ended up relocating from Harlem down to the Virgin Islands because that's where our family is from. Grandparents from there, great-grandparents from there. So she was rediscovering her heritage and rediscovering the old ways. Right. Because, we all been, mainly women, been called witches and part of the Inquisition, for knowing about herbs and knowing about spirituality and things like that. So she was rediscovering that. Right. In her relocation, she ended up meeting Sebi and pregnant with me. Mm-hmm. And Sebi was actually, Dr. Sebi was creating Bolingo, which was this kind of giving back the healing ways and the natural ways back to the woman. So he was aggregating a bunch of females together to give him the knowledge he had acquired in regards to herbs and wellness and health, so that the women can take the torch and continue what they've been doing for ages on end. And my mother was one of those women.
Okay.
My mother was doing so well, and she was just so on point with her ideas and the retaining and just her purity and her energy, that she actually ended up becoming one of the wives of Dr. Sebi. So in turn, I became one of his sons, and he ended up raising me. So my health and wellness journey starts in the womb, as pretty much being taken in by Dr. Sebi. Now, I don't want to say adopted, because I had a father. Right. I don't want anybody to think that, you know, I'm why you give all these props to Dr. Sebi? Not you got a daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally had 3 kings growing up. I had 3 fathers, 3 mentors. Those are 2 of them. The third one his name was Mr. Hooker. He also passed recently. But I had these strong male figures growing up. So in me coming underneath Dr. Sebi, I lived a certain lifestyle based upon what he was teaching my family, what he was teaching me, what was getting bestowed upon us, thinking that was the normal way of life.
Right. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So how was it when you started to meet other people?
I didn't. First of all, I didn't even understand the food thing. Like, people was like eating like chickens and, you know what I'm saying, and meat and stuff like that. And I was like, why y'all eating that stuff? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't raised that way. I thought everybody ate this way.
Right.
You know, but I ended up finding
thing,
out.
Though.
It is. Because, I mean, not when you're young, not when you're a teenager.
You want to be like everybody else.
Yeah, you want to be like everybody else. You want to be cool. You know what I'm saying? You're not knowing that as you watch films and you watch cartoons, you always find there's this black swan or this ugly duckling that later on down the line ends up being this powerful entity. Right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that that's what I was being groomed for at the time. I just knew I wasn't the one that was in.
Okay.
I was a vegan before the vegan word was even invented. Right. You know what I'm saying?
How was school lunches at that time?
Well, just to be clear, when I got to high school, I was told I had the opportunity to eat what I wanted at that point because I was older, and I wanted to know. I was like, I want to know what this fried chicken is all about. What are these hamburgers? What is this pizza? What is this oxtail? Oh my God! What have you been my whole life? High school, I took a nosedive. I was in the garbage dumpsters. I was eating everything, you know. And when I graduated, I noticed the change in me from high school to now being an adult. You know what I mean? And like, I didn't like it. So I started weaning myself back on my own until I ended up becoming fully plant-based again.
Okay, cool.
So like, what are some foods that you started to kind of wean yourself off of?
Oh, you already, now look, when I say I went in the garbage dump, I went in the garbage dump. I even ate pork. I ate ribs. I ate all it. But you know, when you
was down here,
even when you conscious and eat meat, you don't eat pork. That's like the worst. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not doing. Like, most people don't know the holiday ham, how they get them, all them little black dots. Y'all ever notice when people pull out a honey glazed holiday ham, they got all these little things stuck in it? Yeah. Do you know what that is?
Nah.
That's what I'm saying. See, we don't pay attention. Those are cloves.
Okay.
You know why they put cloves in the ham?
Why?
Because ham got worms in them. So they put the cloves in there to kill all the worms while it's cooking.
Oh, okay.
So you're just eating dead worms.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So definitely pork. I knocked that quick. The red meat quick. You know what I mean? I think I was on like turkey because I was loving the turkey wings. Then I let that go. And then I was just on like fish and then gravy. I was a big gravy person. You go to the West End restaurant, like, yeah, let me get some of that curry chicken on there real quick. Let me get that oxtail gravy, get that red snapper.
With the gravy. The escovitch.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And then I was like, I had to let that go. And then when I let that go, I started getting even more deep in my studies. And, you know, I just was able to separate myself from it.
Yeah, so I've been a vegan for like 4 years now.
Oh, that's what's up.
And I try to tell people, like, I feel like I
appreciate that. That's a long time.
But I tell people, like, I feel like that's the only way you can do it. I hate when people quit cold turkey and then hate veganism. They're like, oh man, I tried it for a week, man, and I almost died. I'm like, bro, you can't just wean yourself off of, you can't just quit meat right away. You know what I mean? Your body's gonna reject what you're doing.
Go back to the 70s and pull a heroin addict real quick.
Right.
And take him on heroin
Right.
and see what happens. It's the same thing. If a heroin addict was able to go to CVS,
Right.
which they pretty much can go to a lot of drugstores now and get opioids, right?
Right.
But back in the day, if they could go to any store and get the heroin, when they did cut it, they'd be sneaking out at 3 in the morning, go grabbing whatever they could get. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, what I do when I teach people about veganism is forget about the fact that you're giving anything up, because that's a lie. You're not giving anything up. You don't understand that it's taste and texture.
Right.
That's all it really is.
All
Okay?
it is.
It ain't about like you're not a beast. You're not a savage. You're not dreaming about plucking chickens and cutting their heads off.
Right.
You're not dreaming about eating the heart of a deer after you kill it. Like
Any
you're
meat
not.
unseasoned is not good at all.
Of course not.
Yeah,
And what is it seasoned with?
Salt.
Salts and herbs,
Salt,
vegetables,
herbs. There we go.
Right.
Carrots, and potatoes,
Yeah.
and all that type of stuff you putting in there to give it some type of flavor.
Right.
You see what I mean? So we have to first understand that it's not meat that we're entrained to. It's that we like. It's the taste and the texture that we like. The
Right.
thing that we addicted to is the blood and the chemicals, but it's the taste and the texture that we love.
Okay.
So how do you manipulate taste and texture? So I know y'all know about the oyster mushrooms
Right.
these days.
Right.
Like that's
Delicious.
That's actually what convinced me that the taste and texture thing was a real thing. I think it was you. I
Yeah.
called you when he was living in LA.
Mhm.
He was like, I was like, man, what you been on, man? He was like, honestly, man, I just been in here making mushroom bacon. And I was like, bruh. And I was like, bruh. I was like, what do you mean, bro? He was like, yeah, mushroom bacon. I was like, there's no way. He was like, I'm telling you, man, just mushrooms in the oven. It was real simple little sauce, real simple recipe, right? Threw it in, man, ate it, and I was like, oh man, it tastes like bacon. And yeah, I was making BLTs. I was on it for like at least a month, just heavy mushrooms.
And me
With
being-
them shiitakes or whatever. What they is that the right way?
Yeah, I
love
think
it.
it's shiitake.
And me being from Texas, man, I was a avid barbecue lover. Barbecue beef brisket was my personal favorite. And when I turned vegan, I was like, I can't find nothing to recapture this. But when I got that barbecue jackfruit sandwich,
jackfruit.
man, it was like,
That'll change the game. That'll change.
I'm from the Dallas area. West
Okay,
Texas.
I just moved from there.
Okay.
So they got Spiral,
Right.
vegan food. Did you ever mess with Vegan Vania or BAM?
Nah, I've been
At
here
the
for
farmer's
a
market?
while, so I ain't been back in a
Gotcha.
minute. But
Yeah, the farmers market downtown
Right.
Dallas,
Right.
bumping. They got about 5 vegan vendors there now.
Okay.
And they killing it. I actually did a series of vegan events last year called Dalicious. So it was me and my other two brothers, Bam and Vegan Bonnie. We set up our tables by Pan African Connection.
Okay.
I know you know about
Yeah.
Pac Dallas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Mama Quete, shout out to her. And we set up, and you should have seen how many people was in the house.
There's a lot of people
And
that
it ain't even
want-
vegans. It's
Yeah.
just people like good food. Like we got to get the veganism out the head and just say good,
Food.
real food.
I wanted to put together a vegan cooking competition. I feel
Let's
like
do it.
I feel like it's not. You know how they got
Ain't
the
nobody
barbecue
vegan.
competitions. Well, I want to get
Ain't
the
nobody-
restaurants in the
nobody
city,
messing with
all the cooks, look, everything. And there's so many people that are like, nah, I know how to make the real good vegan.
I
So I
got
think
all
I think
y'all.
that would be a good. There's a good opportunity here to make a vegan cooking competition.
Oh,
in the
I'm
city.
with it. I'm with it.
Most definitely. So let's get to what a lot of people are just on people's minds. right now.
Let me
And
just
you know what that
get
is.
some water first.
That's the corona, right? And I know you. I've watched a couple of videos. You got a whole theory together of how you think this is coming together perfectly to create this issue that we're seeing with corona.
That's right.
Through a lot of the other things that you wanted to discuss today. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and enlighten us a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, most
on this
definitely.
corona.
Now, first thing we have to do before I even get into the whole coronavirus thing is we got to understand microbes and viruses. And the fact that I know a lot of people in their studies have heard HIV is a hoax. You know, this disease doesn't exist, this disease don't exist. And the reason why there's validity to that statement is the fact that there's really no isolated viruses that people can prove. For instance, there was a doctor named Dr. Stefan Lanka overseas.
Okay.
He put up 100,000 euros, not our racks, European racks, which means it's more than our money, right?
$120,000, $130,000.
He put that up and said, I will give this to anybody who can prove the existence of the measles virus,
Okay.
and nobody was able to do it.
Wow.
Really?
We talking about scientists and docs came from all over, because the pictures y'all see are nothing but molecules that you create in your body.
Okay.
See, we think we're a bunch of sterilized cells, just human cells. No, we're called a holobiont, HOLOBIONT,
Okay.
meaning we're a galaxy, a universe of different aliens. Like, we know we got different nationalities on Earth,
Right.
but we can expand our mind and be like, yo, there's different federations in the universe, right? It's the same thing in regards to bacteria and in regards to our body.
Okay.
We're fungi, we're bacteria,
Right.
we're viruses, and we're eukaryotic cells. And our existence is the collection of all those things.
Can you give me eukaryotic cells? What exactly that means?
Oh, a eukaryotic cell means it's a multi-celled organism. So
Okay.
you got prokaryotic cells, which are single-cell organisms, archaea, prokaryote, bacteria. Those are single-cell organisms.
Okay.
You're not going to see a bunch of bacteria come together in the Voltron and turn into a body.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we are that, and we start to see that in the fungi kingdom. Mushrooms outdate everybody.
Right.
We got more in common with them than we do with plants.
Okay.
Right.
Okay?
Which we discussed last week. We got
Oh
into
yeah,
with
we did
Kalindi
big
here.
shout out to
Yeah,
Baba
yeah,
Kalindi,
yeah,
the master.
Definitely, most definitely. Oh, just a quick plug. You coming to the conference?
Oh, I'm speaking at the conference.
Okay, for sure.
I'm on Saturday. That's
Okay,
right.
look. All right. What's that?
I'm on the
August 7th through the 9th.
Through the 9th. That's
In
right.
Detroit, get your tickets. man.
Detroit
Come up, show
Psychedelic
up.
Conference.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of psychedelic conferences throughout the world, but there's none that represent us.
This is the urban psychedelic conference.
You know what I mean? And we're the ones that got the mental health like really popping these days.
Right.
So yeah, y'all need to come out and
Get up
support
there.
that.
Yes,
for
indeed.
sure.
will be up there. KT will be up there. It should be a good time. Continue,
we
KT.
going
I was like, oh,
No,
that's
no,
a
no,
perfect
you
time
good,
to
you
plug
good.
that for the listeners.
So we're a collection of all these microbes, right?
Right.
Now we always talk about the World War and how Hitler was defeated and all the Germans ran off to Argentina and America took some of them, and that's how scientific programs got started.
Right.
But what if Hitler won? What if there was a swastika flag everywhere you looked? Right?
Be interesting.
It would be interesting.
Right.
Quick thing. Would you be able to switch hands?
Okay.
For the.
Oh,
She's trying to get the good side for the YouTube.
My bad, I got the afro. I can't even wear headphones no more, man. I got to get like magnetic muffs or something like that.
Magnetic buffs.
You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So, what was I just saying?
If Hitler won.
Say that again.
You were talking about if Hitler won.
Yeah, if Hitler won. So, what happened to us is we woke up one day and a Hitler won, but his name was Louis Pasteur.
Okay.
See, there was a scientific war, just like there was a war of the currents between Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison. There was a war between the science, between Louis Pasteur and Antoine Béchamp. Béchamp lost, even though Béchamp was the one who had the correct information. Pasteur won because of sensationalism and because Big Pharma was going to back him.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Rockefeller ended up pretty much foreseeing that he was going to fail with his businesses because of the advent of electricity and the automobile. So what was he going to do with all that petroleum and oil?
Interesting.
The petroleum oil turned into the pharmaceutical company. Louis Pasteur became the mouthpiece to sell it, hence vaccinations, hence vaccine, hence boogeyman.
So that's where all of that really got into the forefront of
So
our culture?
we're living in the wake of a war that our things that would interest us the most did not win.
Right.
You see, so we're living a lie. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz with the wizard behind the curtain. Everybody's living. That's what it
It
is.
seems like a lot of people don't realize how impactful these titans of industry
Really are.
Right. And
of
they
course.
think that it's necessarily the government. It's like, no, when you really go through the annals of history, what you find is that there's very powerful men who have certain interests. Even when I used to talk to people about marijuana, I'm like, everyone's looking at the wrong companies. I'm like, you're not looking at the paper industry, who has a huge stake in forestation, and hemp can be made into paper a lot faster, a lot cheaper on any land.
Right.
And so, or if you're the cotton industry, you don't need hemp coming online. You can get softer fabrics.
That's right.
You can grow it anywhere. You don't need these special, specific regional locations to do this in. This creates a huge problem for very powerful entities. And so it's like, it's never a lot of times the guy you think that's really, that people initially think is like, think about the guys that are really.
You gotta follow the paper trail.
Follow the paper trail.
Follow the paper trail, man, because the government, like, we think the government is responsible for this, that. No, they're not. They're answering to somebody.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Who put the government together?
Right, they have to get elected and everything like that.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So we got this situation where we're living in this false reality where we don't understand that we have the ability to induce virus in us. Mm-hmm. My thing is this: does anybody even know what a virus is in the first place?
Break it down, brother.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
We think we know.
But we don't. This is the best way for me to get people to understand what a virus is. A virus is a floating flash drive.
Okay.
Could you imagine if flash drives were just floating around in the air and you are a computer?
You're picking them up.
You know what I mean? That means that when that flash drive connects to you, it has the ability to transfer what? Information that's on that flash drive. That's all it is. But in this case, we're talking about a segment of DNA, which we know as a gene. That ain't nothing but a file that contains information.
Okay.
That information can be a blueprint to build a home. It could be specs to build a car. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm saying not all of them are necessarily bad.
No. Okay. Most of our genome is viral.
Okay.
Where do you think we got all the abilities of our body? Why do you think we have the nature that we have? We have it because we got it. Matter of fact, let me put it this way. You would be dead right now if there wasn't for a bacteria that your mama gives you, called mitochondria.
Right.
It only comes matrilinearly. I mean, it's only passed down through the woman. Your mother gives you that. If it wasn't for the mitochondria, you would not be able to liberate the energy from the food, and you would not be able to use sunlight as a means of food and nutrients as well.
So we basically use the virus to do our bidding.
Yes. Viruses, we transfer DNA from our toe to our head, from our elbow to our fingertip.
Right.
It gets transported, and when you see it under a microscope, it looks like a virus.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that inside the milieu, meaning inside the fluids of the body, you can't extrapolate things and take it in a lab and manipulate them.
Right.
And when we're dealing with this particular strand of the coronavirus, we're dealing with something that has been manipulated by man. Okay? It's actually a virus. You have something called a viral reservoir in animals, right? Where it's fascinating to me, where you got viruses where it takes 3 animals for them to be able to be active. Like you'll have something like a bird eat something. It gets in the bird. Now it's inoculating in their gut.
Right.
The bird flies. It defecates, right?
Right.
Once the cat eats
like a
something
filtration system
and then
almost.
it gets inside the cat.
Yeah,
now it's inoculating in the cat. Then the cat passes, and then it gets to the third thing, and now it's this full-fledged virus. You see what I'm saying? So it has to utilize a host in order for it to do anything. And so I compare bacteria to women. I compare viruses to men.
Okay.
Because a virus needs a bacteria. It lands on it like a spaceship, penetrates it with a phallus, and ejaculates its DNA inside. What that sound like?
Rape.
Nah, pretty much.
No, that's what do you think infection is when you say you got infected? That's a soft way of saying I got raped by a small flash drive.
I've been getting virally raped
all day. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did do with Me Too campaign goes across.
We all
victims,
We all have experience.
So in this case, we're talking about a bat. These bats have this particular viral body that they've been passing down generation after generation with inside them. Okay? And if you look at the movie Contagion from 2011, they actually have a scene with bats eating bananas. They drop the banana, the pig eat it. Right. The butcher cuts the pig don't clean his hands when he goes meets with one of the people that come to the restaurant, and that's how the whole movie starts, with her getting sick and having this virus. You see what I'm saying?
The whole set of events.
Exactly. So we're dealing with a situation where our environment is inducing disease. Mm-hmm. You see? So the mutation that occurred in these viral bodies was to increase the receptivity of it, not so much its effect once it's in you. Because the only way viruses can affect you is if your immune system is compromised.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you got a whole crew of henchmen around your mansion with satellite cameras, infrared temperature scanners, ain't nobody foolish enough to come up in your crib, bro.
Right.
Unannounced.
That's a hard target.
Right. Come on.
Right.
But if they all got on vacation and you're gone and the power went out in the house,
right?
Yeah, then there's an opportunity to slide
like
in there.
Malcolm X documentary, they said the day he got killed, they just all the police presence was gone, and none of the security that was supposed to be around was there.
Come on, man. I mean, we get in the X had told Bumpy, I don't need your help no more. He was like, I don't need, because he knew.
Right.
He had that feeling in his gut what was about to happen. You know what I mean? And sometimes people, I think a lot of people, it might be everybody, actually gets a choice when their life is in jeopardy, and they choose death or they choose life. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people would say that doesn't happen. That's because the person might not have been sober enough to be aware of the sign. Right. But the universe is going to tell you, oh yeah, your time's up.
It definitely seems like you feel it coming or you see it coming.
That's what I'm saying. I'm assuming he felt that was coming. That's why he was like, come on, you got Bumpy Johnson, got your back. And you just at the Autobahn, and you just going to be like, nah, I'm straight. Good, I got it. You know what I mean?
Has to go a certain
but that's a whole other story getting in the X right there.
Like your body without a good immune system.
That's what I'm saying. You have to have your immune system on point. And most people think that their immune system strength is based upon food and diet. And that's only half the truth. Maybe that's only a third of the truth. 2/3 of the truth is the sun. That's why it's called coronavirus. Because nature's always going to give you a way out.
That's why I use that yellow circle on the...
Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. It's about the sun. They say, it's a coronavirus because when you look under the microscope, it's glycoproteins, which are these spikes that stick out of the body of the virus. It's reminiscent of a kid who would draw a picture of the sun. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, this is the corona. But no, it's the fact that we have chosen alien sun instead of an actual sun. We are underneath the light of blue light that is patented by Google, that is patented by Facebook, that is patented by organizations that know that this frequency manipulates the chemistry of your brain and its processing. So they can get you to be effeminated, dumbed down, or just a blind, impulsive consumer.
Right, which is definitely what our community seems to be full of. There's a lot of blind consumption of everything possible.
Right.
I was noticing in the store, you can't even, to the blue light comment, you can't even find, I was trying to find just regular light bulbs.
You gotta look for incandescent.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of the stores ain't even carry.
Oh no, you gotta get them online.
Yeah, you can't even
get online. You gotta go to like an Ace Hardware.
It's all LED. I'm like, I don't even like the tone of the light when I turn it on. It doesn't feel good.
Your eyes.
And I can't find another type of light, so I gotta go online.
This is why during daytime, right? Where do you find the color blue at? What is predominantly blue?
The sky.
And what else?
Water.
Those colors, that's why you don't see blue in nature. There's blue jays, a couple blue flowers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got the blue bonnets in Texas, that's their flower. You know what I'm saying? But you don't really see blue saturated in nature. The only place you see blue saturated is the sky above and the ocean below.
Okay.
Only during daytime.
Right.
Because there is no sky at night. The sky just took the day off.
Right.
It's just stars up there and maybe some clouds, but it's black.
Right.
The ocean is not blue at night either. It's black, gray, or some murky color.
Oh yeah,
So-
it's dark at night.
So if I'm a vacuum meaning my body is zipped and sealed shut. How is my organisms, microbes, and my holobiont to know what's going on in this environment around me? They don't got eyeballs. I got eyeballs.
Right.
I got rhodopsin in my skin. But how are they gonna know? Because when there is a certain amount of blue light and color temperature, what ends up happening is your body's able to recognize, oh, it's the daytime. So it produces daytime hormones and daytime enzymes.
Right.
But if you're looking at your phone at 2 a.m. in the morning with a blue light screen that has the same color temperature as the sun at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, then your body feels like it's in a perpetual state of noon all the time.
Interesting.
What does sleep deprivation do to us?
It eats us up, makes us sick.
Right?
Mhm.
It gets us. No, you ain't got no sleep. How you acting?
Right.
Let's say your boyfriend come up to you and like, hey, baby, what you want to do right now? How you
I already
do
know.
right
I'm
now?
tired, ain't nothing going down.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's
But not
what
just
people do.
tired, just
Like, oh,
man, you short tempered.
Right.
You bringing up petty stuff. Y'all getting in arguments. You might get in a fight.
All
From-
because you sleep.
Right. So if you dealing with blue light toxicity all the time, that's just like dealing with sleep deprivation or jet lag continuously, and that's the state that the culture's in right now.
Right.
We're in this endless state of sleep deprivation.
So
I know a lot of brothers dealing with that bad sleep.
Get off your
deprivation.
phone.
That makes a lot of sense. So just getting off the phone, not being around blue light.
Yes, we have
with
to.
the natural rhythms.
Turn
Well,
on TV, I'm guessing.
before we even get into that aspect, we ignored the see all the questions y'all said. Y'all asked all those questions and didn't stick to the main point, and everybody missed it.
Yeah, go outside.
Take your black butt outside in the sun. We black and we proud,
We
right?
belong there.
go in the sun?
We
might do that.
Hold on.
Under the sun.
We black and we proud, right?
Yeah.
We star people.
Facts.
We soulful.
Facts.
What does soul mean? Doesn't that mean?
Solar, sun.
Yeah.
We the sun people.
We say sun in
Yeah.
response. Oh, I'm melanin, man. I could walk in a burning building with this melanin.
Man, I invite somebody
And don't
outside.
do it.
Man, they we're like, hey, let's go. You trying to go out to the great outdoors? Like, what? Man, that's white people stuff.
Yeah, I get that so much.
That's white
That's
people stuff.
white people.
White people stuff. Seems like everything we used to do that's originally ours, white people, I guess, took
We blame it
ownership
on
of.
them.
And now we give it to them now freely. Like, oh man, that's white people stuff.
Anybody ever had
Like
a
classical
cast?
music.
What you being honest and telling the truth? That's white people.
Anybody ever had a cast on?
I have.
Okay, how long?
Maybe about 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
I fractured my left wrist.
Fracture your left wrist. When you took the cast off, what color was your wrist?
It was pale and
It-
it was a little bit skinnier.
Wow. So you mean to tell me when no light is present, you're pale?
Mm-hmm.
So then how is it white people for the great outdoors then? How's it for them?
That's false. That's a false narrative.
No, without a doubt. But I'm saying I'm just talking to the people who
Right,
might
right.
be thinking that way
Yeah,
right
there's
now.
a lot of people out there
You know
who
what I'm
think
saying?
that's what
Like,
they think.
how are they meant for the great outdoors?
They need somebody to even go out.
When we're the one that has the color.
Right.
Right.
Everything in nature got color in it.
Everything.
That's what makes
Unless it lives
birds.
underground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's true. That's true. And the minute that they surface up to the top,
They die usually.
you know what I mean? Or they start getting color. Like,
They
bro, you
start
dig in the
coloring.
dirt, you start seeing them fat little grubs.
Right,
They
right.
white. Until the melanin start
I
getting
even tell
produced
people
and they
that
come to the surface.
about pigs. Pigs are the fastest animal to de-domesticate itself when released. It turns feral very quickly and
Right,
it immediately
right.
starts to grow hair and become dark.
That's
Even
what I'm
if it's the
saying.
pink pigs that live
Go
in
to
domestication.
Alabama.
Right. If they get out of
See
pens
hogs
and live
there.
out there, them hogs are all brown.
And they will
And
tell you a new
don't
one.
some of them be
They're
black?
black and brown, but they're not going to be. You won't find a wild animal. Even polar bears,
I've never
they're
seen-
not act. They're black animals.
They're actually black animals,
with
you're right.
white, you know,
With the white hair
tubular
on
hairs
it.
or whatever.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Little
That's
fiber
why I
optics
feel
on it.
like,
We
white
definitely need to get
people
outside.
are not necessarily the same humans that we are. I feel like they're a little different.
Well, there's different. There's definitely
in
solid
general.
physical differences.
Well,
and
yeah.
There's solid physical differences, and we definitely should be outside more. But you don't see that in our community as much. You don't see kids playing outside. I gotta threaten my kids half the time. Like, man, y'all don't want to do nothing outside. They rather in the
That's
house.
all I
video
wanted to do.
games,
That
you
used
know.
to punishment used to be being sent indoors.
Oh, that was the worst.
Yeah,
That was the worst. You can't go outside. Oh man.
Yeah, and nobody wants to go outside no more. So, in regards to y'all point, in regards to physical differences, y'all talking about phenotype.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So when you're dealing with the different physical and genetic differences between different groups of people, those are phenotypes. You got Mongoloid phenotype. Who do you think that is?
That's Asian.
Right? You got Caucasoid phenotype. Who that?
Central Asian.
And then we gotta be, we're either Negroid or Congoloid. You know what I mean? Those are the two references to us. So he's Congoloid or Negroid. You know what I'm saying? Or is our turn. But
that's why I'm finna stop saying niggas.
I just say Moors.
Now that's a whole nother conversation right there. People don't want to have with me. They be shocked when they find out. I'm like, I don't got a problem with the word. It was like, magic is everything, and it does have to deal with tone. Okay. Right. Now, you mean to tell me that you're gonna suspend everything that's about you just because somebody walked up to you and called you a nigger? You get a flash, but like, you wasn't back there getting raped and getting hung by
trees. That's too much control. Allowing someone to speak a word and have it have power.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they say it's so hard. Their breath cracks. Like they, you know what I mean? They shake, and I'm like, are you okay? Just say it again. If that's gonna bring you some type of better feeling inside your heart and soul, because I'm straight.
Can't erase the truth of who we are, no matter what name.
Last
Rose
I checked,
name is still Rose. Right?
Last I checked, it meant king. Last I checked, it meant royalty. Naga, even in Hebrew. I don't give. You could go to any book in antiquity and look that word up, and you find out the power. But I'm gonna give the power to you.
You have the
in
serpent
modern.
people. You have the Naga tribes and the serpent people. You got. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm with you.
Come on. Come on.
I subscribe to the Moorish thing, but I just like that name, and I feel like that's a power name for the last 405 years. It's a very strong word to use, and it does create a certain feeling amongst Europeans when you state Moor. And so, you know what I'm saying? I like it for those reasons, but I don't down anyone.
Yeah, because it connects you to the land.
It connects you to the land. And so,
and
if you understand that, that's the thing. But, that's,
that's on you.
Yeah, that's on you. It wasn't it. It's on you. You know what I'm saying? It's another thing, continue. We was on the virus. We were on the virus and the coronavirus and everything. So this virus was manipulated by man, and their manipulation is just in the receptivity of it, so it's easy for people to catch. But like I said, your immune system has to be compromised in order for that to happen. And the compromising of your immune system comes from the lack of solar stimulation. Okay. All right. In Kemet, there's a figure called Kepara. He is a beetle, a scarab beetle. Erykah Badu uses this beetle as a logo for her, all right, to represent who she is. And it means coming into existence. It means creation. It means to form. They roll cow dung into a ball and seed it with their eggs, and their eggs hatch and consume the content inside this brood ball in order to become a full-grown beetle. Right. Now, they use this beetle as a representation of the morning sun. Okay. They salute the morning sun. We all saw Lion King. Mm-hmm. Did you see what everybody do when the sun's coming up? Mm-hmm. Right. It's a ritual. Right. Okay? And we don't do that. We love talking about Horus. Right. There's a horizon every day that we're supposed to look at and give credence to.
So for people that may be looking into getting some more sun, or using that to combat possible coronavirus symptoms, or just to what would be your allotted amount of sun for somebody who really doesn't get out? For a good start.
Sure. I would say the most important times to catch the sun would be sunrise and sunset. You want to catch as many sunrises as you can. When you get old and gray and run out of time, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to be like, man, I wish I caught more sunrises. All people who get older say that. Why do they say that?
They watch the sunrise a lot.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you need to be out there when that sun come up with your bare feet in the soil. Why am I saying that? This process is called grounding. Yeah. How many calls can you make when you want 3% on your phone?
Not a lot.
None. You lucky if you can text, right?
Right.
Now, so what do you do to remedy that?
Stay charged up.
Charge it. You plug it in the wall. So your feet are a plug, and the earth is a socket. And the electron and the charge comes from the sun hitting the earth in a process called the photoelectric effect. Okay, you got phototropism where the plants, they start looking at the sun. But then in the photoelectric effect, you got a situation where the sun is spraying the earth with all this energy. And in response, the earth is just like giving up all these ions and these electrons and this charge. And when you stand on it with your bare feet, and why would I say bare feet? Because, I mean, socks, they're organic, so you're good in socks. But shoes got a rubber sole.
Right, rubber
And
stops
that's
up
blocking
current flow.
electricity.
That's an insulator.
Also, don't you have like the most nerves in your feet, like or something like that? You
That's
got the
right.
most split
That's
limbs,
why-
nerves, all that.
Why you think you light skinned? Everybody light skinned on the bottom of their feet and their
I
hands.
seen
I
a
don't care
couple
how black
darker
you
skinned
get.
brothers, but they still
Yeah,
light
they
skin.
still got a lighter skin. It might be darker
You know what I mean?
than the darkest part of you. But it's still a contrast. You see what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
That's so that energy can pass right through,
Right.
like a window. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you barefoot. I always say this. There is the harem Aket in Kemet, which everybody knows to be the Sphinx, which is an individual who is on their all fours looking to the east horizon.
Right.
That is to let it. I'm like, yo, they was really like, they must have really knew how important it was for them to build a structure that size.
It was actually built during the age of Leo too. But the watermark was kind of date towards the age of Leo, so it was in veneration of the sun.
10,000 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
About
saying?
10,000 something.
And honestly, like the older I get, I start to realize that like a lot of this stuff is tied together. Like we wasn't just dancing around the trees in the sun and all that for no reason. Outside telling them we wasn't out there for no reason. Like
Right.
them rituals that people like to tease, you know, and act like it's crazy or you doing witchcraft was for the environment. They
Exactly.
was worshiping the earth.
The environment. Like, what are we without an environment? If I say polar, first of all, I say polar bear, which lets you know it's from polar regions on the earth. So you can't take a polar, like say, this was Sebi, one of his most prized sayings, he would say, the polar bear and the gorilla. If I took a gorilla out the jungle and a polar bear out the Arctic and I put one in the desert and another one in the ocean,
Yeah, they're customized for their environment.
their environment is so. What do you think that what makes man so different is our ego, the fact that we got the ability to take our environment wherever we go. Remember, animals are locked to their environment.
Right.
If I go in the desert, there's certain animals I'm not going to find. If I go to an island, there's certain things I'm not going to see.
Right.
But we take everything with us.
Technology.
And because we can take everything with us, sometimes there's a mismatch between the inner verse of what's going on within inside our body and the environment that we stay in.
Right.
There's supposed to be homeostasis or a balance between the two. And our homeostasis is way off right now. Okay?
I feel you. So like, would you say say an Eskimo or an Inuit people, I think is the politically correct term.
How
would
are
you
they
say-
getting theirs?
Would you say they are, now they're dark skinned.
Yeah, I'll
they're
tell you
definitely
why.
melanated.
And
And you
it's
gotta
not,
be to
it's
live a,
not from the sun, believe it or not.
is it,
It
well,
just-
okay, just real quickly, go into that, because I was gonna say, so would you say that
It
based off
is
of where
from the
they're
sun,
living-
but it's a chemical version of the sun called
Okay.
vitamin D.
Okay.
They're eating all of the blubber, the whale fat, and
Right, right.
everything. Remember,
'Cause that's a
seven-
completely, there's like no vegetables in their diet almost, right?
No,
That's all
no,
meat.
that's right, that's right. And remember, we're a product of our environment. So remember, Sebi's information was based on us going back to our being genetically responsible. We know we ain't from the Arctic region. So if you're in the Arctic region, yeah, you gotta adapt to the Arctic environment, and you have to do things differently.
Right. When you're
Okay.
wrong.
So, anybody who's listening right now, I want y'all to look at y'all arm and look at the skin wrapped around your arm. Right underneath that layer of skin is a layer of fat. You know it, you can pull it, right? That's where you're gonna find 7-hydroxycholesterol at, which is the precursor to vitamin D. When ultraviolet B energy, right? Because you got ultraviolet and it's split up in A, B, and C based on the frequencies of it. B, right there in the middle, is what is responsible for the stimulation of that molecule turning from 7-hydroxy into vitamin D. So they're eating whale fat. They're eating blubber. What is that? That's the layer where vitamin D is
So
produced.
it's just increasing that.
They're
that you are
consuming
what you eat.
a natural source of vitamin D, and vitamin D increases melanation
Okay.
in the body. So that's why they're dark.
So I could roast people by saying, hey man, you must be eating
Yeah.
I'm just making
you on that whale diet.
Yeah, I'm just making.
You on that whale diet
That
right
blood
now.
I see on your brother's dark. All right. So, with the sun and the coronavirus thing, China, Wuhan, issues with the sun being blocked out,
being blocked out, pollution.
Break this down.
Well, there's a billion.
Yeah, break
There's
this
a
down. He's
billion
got it.
people. There's a billion people in China. Just to put that in perspective, there's 350 million in the United States.
Right.
So you're talking 3 times the population, and I would think a smaller area too.
Right.
Okay. Now, they're the first ones to push the 5G crazy, because as we've gone through the different generations of the internet and the speed from 1G, which was the fat phones from back in the day that Roddy Ricch got on his video, you know what I'm saying? Then you go into 2G with the flip phones, right? 4G was iPhone, right? And then you get now into 5G. So there is the hardware, software, right? And then there's the pipeline. Meaning the pipeline is the speed, the bandwidth, and everything like that. So China was looking at all of this and like, we have to be in front of this. So they jumped ahead and was like, we about to retrofit the 5G crazy. But you're talking about a section of the electromagnetic spectrum that has not been dealt with yet, meaning we have not been exposed to. So it's almost like exposing you to cosmic radiation almost, because it's like you're not used to it.
Just roll the dice.
So for people who don't know what I'm talking about right now, when you think of color, when you see somebody and they got a red shirt and they black, you know, and they got green shoes on, those colors are part of the visible spectrum. They're just a visual representation of a frequency. And what I mean a visual representation, when you turn on the radio, you can't see radio waves. If somebody pass gas, you can't see gas come out of them. You know what I mean? So there's things that we can't see with our eyes. And that is the electromagnetic spectrum. Now, before you get to the visual spectrum, you have the radio waves. Okay, and this is where FM, AM, that's where that's at, right? The CB radios and everything like that. But then you start getting into the cell phones that use radio frequencies too. As you get higher, you get into something called millimeter waves. Millimeter waves are the waves that you see at the airport when you got to put your hand up and that little thing goes in front of you and they scan you. Right? Because why do they use that? Because it's able to penetrate a layer of your skin. It's able to penetrate your clothing so it can see if you hiding something underneath. Well, if it could penetrate to see that, that means it's penetrating.
Right.
Go holler at any TSA agent that has worked by those millimeter waves between 5 to 10 years and ask them what their doctor telling them these days.
I'm sure they got
90% of them got cancer.
Oh yeah,
and there's people who have died already.
There's not enough evidence. There's not enough information. Just if you just study low wave radio frequency, they can't give you a solid answer on
That's
how
what
much
I'm
damage it
saying.
does to the human body.
People
Like, you should be straight.
dying.
You're like, well, yeah. So yeah, I can imagine.
People are dying from the millimeter
I feel like
waves.
that's what cancer is like at an all-time high now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Because we're in a microwave.
Man, there's so many different frequencies that in a natural setting you wouldn't have half of the soup that we're sitting in. We're like in this big bowl of pho.
Microwave.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. We're in a microwave bowl
of pho,
being cooked.
Yeah.
Somebody hit like 18 minutes and we rotating around, we all cooking. You know, and the reason why black folks is able to deal with it is because we have melanin, and melanin has the ability to eat radiation. That's why Chernobyl, have y'all seen Chernobyl? Yes. Y'all know about Chernobyl and the reactor.
Yeah, we watched the whole very interesting series.
That was a horrible.
But can you see what it's looking like now? Because
stuff is growing back and everything, right?
Not thriving. It's a forest. There's animals there because a black fungus ate the reactor core.
Interesting.
And why is it black? Because it produces melanin.
Right, it's absorbing the energy
eating
of
it.
the
that's what we do with the sun. We eat harmful ultraviolet light that normally will mutate DNA, and I compare it to like a deli slicer. We got a big hunk of meat, and you slice it down into little pieces so you can eat cold cuts, because you ain't gonna put a big hunk of meat in between two bread, right? So ultraviolet is like a big hunk of meat that our body can't do nothing with. And what happens is melanin is a slicer that can slice it down to infrared or yellow or blue or any other frequency that can regenerate or rejuvenate the body. Okay. You see? So China is dealing with this 5G. These frequencies, 60 gigahertz, bro, is the same resonance of oxygen. You didn't know oxygen had a frequency, did you?
Did not.
The 5G rollout has the same frequency as oxygen. What does that mean? That means it will neutralize it. That means you can breathe and you will not saturate your blood cells with oxygen.
Because it'll be full of 5G.
Because the 5G is neutralizing the ability for you to attach the oxygen to your red blood cells. So you're suffering from hypoxia, which is suffocation, lack of oxygen. So you got, China got the blue light blocked out. I mean, they got the sun blocked out with the pollution. Right. They got the blue light because everybody's on the phone. Yeah. Do y'all know, I don't think y'all really understand how intricate the Internet of Things is in China right now. Like, they have the facial recognition software now. Like, you could walk outside and say Uber, and it pulls up.
Yeah. Wow.
And takes you where you need to go without you using, like, they're doing away with the phone. Right. You're the phone now.
Yeah, they seem to not have half the regulatory restrictions on technology development as we do, which is reckless and it's cool in some cases. Like, oh man, look how fast China's moving. And other times it's like coronavirus. You're like, oh man, see, that's why we need to slow the roll, man. They still eat bats. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I didn't even get into
you know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, well, no, I know you would. But
bats is the least of it. They eat. Listen, they don't see meat like we do over here. Folks in the States is bougie. I only eat chicken. I eat turkey. I eat fish. Right. They like, bro, you was a carnivore. You eat meat.
Right. They eat everything.
They eat dog, horse, cat, snakes, and proud of it.
Allegedly. We have to say that for the record.
I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah, you do that. You do that. I come from New York, man. I know what they do back in that Chinese restaurant. So, man, you know what I'm saying? I know what they do. I'm with them, though. My thing is, if you a carnivore,
eat it all.
You better eat it.
Hunt it, go get it. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. Go get it.
We're the real gay. You say you a gangster, right?
Yeah, bang, bang.
You a gangster. You holding your gat sideways with your pants hanging down, killing your brother.
Right.
When you got other folks head to toe with the regalia, with their son, staking out a deer, kill it, give the heart to the son, eat it, eats the son with the blood. You could, bro.
That's when you know you mean it. You know what I'm saying? That's when it's real.
I'm with you, bro, because you're dedicated.
Right.
Yeah. Now, the funny thing about antiquity is this, too. Consonants are constant, vowels are interchangeable. Right. They're called vowels because it's a vow of God.
Right.
That is, you know what I'm saying? Like when you say a vowel, A-E-I-O-U, you don't even gotta use your lips. It's a godly resonance. So you can always replace vowels and come up with all types of different names. Coronavirus is carnivorous. They're the same word.
True.
You just have to move some vowels around.
Right.
So the overconsumption of the flesh, the blocking out of the sun, the intensity of blue light and 5G, along with the neutralization of oxygen, will definitely create a rapid increase in a viral outbreak.
So it's like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
They had everything they needed to make this pop.
That's right. And then you just have people fly all over the world and
right. And they were already saying that I guess coronavirus was, I mean not corona, but 5G was showing in some testing to cause influenza-like symptoms. Is that what you get more with the closing of 5G, not being able to breathe and the displacement of oxygen and all that type of stuff?
There's two things y'all could look at to verify that. There's one study that literally says in the study that they have in vivo proof. In vivo meaning in the body, in vitro means in like a culture that's outside the body, that when 5G is exposed to viruses and bacteria, they explode in growth. They grow at an alarming rate. Crazy. They just explode. The second thing y'all need to look up is these two twins, astronauts. where one of them went up and one of them stayed down, and the difference that happened in their genetics because of their exposure to cosmic radiation. Cosmic radiation causes an explosion of fungi, bacteria, viruses, all that stuff. They eat that
So
thing
it's
up.
basically like, so basically it operates like how water does with bacteria in most of environments where bacteria thrives in a moist, wet environment.
That's right.
The radiation or the radio frequencies or whatever from the 5G being emitted operates in a similar way where, like I was in culinary school and they teach you in culinary school, contrary to what every black household says, wash chicken. But when you go to any kitchen, real professional kitchen, they don't wash the chicken.
Right.
They let it sit. If it's frozen, they let it sit and slack. It becomes malleable. They pat it down with paper towels, and then they cook it above 160 degrees, no matter what.
Yeah,
and that's how
the
they
heat
do it,
kills it,
because they
right.
don't want to put water on it because it's assumed to already be contaminated with salmonella. The water just produces more.
Going to produce more.
So same thing with the 5G, and then so
So
we're looking at a future that's going to saturate us.
So yeah, with that being said, what would you say to people that are looking to get some new 5G products? Or, what do you think?
I would say stay away from it. Look, this is it. This is the 5G issue. The 5G ain't the issue itself. It's the power density of 5G.
Okay.
5G is a weaker signal and a shorter signal, which means they have to create repeaters, which are these devices that they repeat every so many feet or whatever to keep the signal going. Right. So the detriment of 5G has to deal with all of us being in one area with them. So when you go to those concerts and they like, everybody put their phone up, and you see the light, right? I mean, I do it too. Everybody do it, right? But that's a perfect example of power density of 5G. Okay. Everybody could walk away with cancer that night. You see what I'm saying? Because of stuff like that.
With that, the repeater stations, I was reading that one of the issues they do have with it, because the signal is so weak, my concerns were in a city like Atlanta, where we're covered in trees. They say trees make it more difficult for the 5G to transmit. Right. So I'm like, we're looking at a possible situation where we have even more transmitters because of the amount of trees in the city. If Atlanta was to go full 5G, we had with all these trees, you would have to, the signals would have to be.
No, you have to cut the trees down because mountains and trees, 5G can't mess with them.
Okay. So this might be a safer place for a while then in some cases.
No, I'm going to tell you, I said power density, which means that the harmful effects of 5G is based on concentrated city areas. So downtown, midtown, Buckhead, where everybody's there. But you go out to Conyers and Athens and go up to Johns Creek, Alpharetta, up into Dahlonega.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you safe up there.
Come on, you ain't. That's what I'm saying. You ain't worrying. It ain't affecting you there like that. You see what I'm saying? So you have to get away from the concentrated city areas.
But everybody's coming into the city. Everybody's buying townhouses,
my thing is
apartments and condos,
and you getting cancer, and you getting AIDS, and you getting herpes. So live with it.
Yeah.
Because people are getting herpes without sleeping with nobody now.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. It's been
I know. I've been dealing with it for 4 or 5 years.
It seems a lot of people, you're carrying genes with already in you that just have to
do it. Most of our DNA is viral, and we have chicken pox, which connects to shingles, connects to herpes. They're all related. So you can be mutated and activated. I had so many men call me, and I'm listening, and I'm like, so, and it's just not adding up. And I'm like, wow. And then you have to think about the testing aspect of it too, that is not thorough. Where they could be telling you got something and you don't.
Right.
And if you sitting around depressed, somebody tell you got herpes.
You start
number one, first thought in your head is, man, I can't smash now. I can't get nothing.
That's devastating. That's full.
To a man.
Man, that's like
what?
Take me away.
That's what I'm saying.
Take me to the king. You know
I'm like, it'd be different if I had erectile dysfunction, but I'm working just fine around here, and I can't do nothing with it.
Nothing.
You know, so now you depressed, now you sad, now all your levels and hormones are dropping, now you are inducing something.
You're creating disease for real.
That's right.
Disease in the mind.
So,
sorry.
No, you good.
Our
mother always used to say, like, whenever I was sick, she always used to be like, you know, you can control that with your mind, right? She used to tell me that when I was little, like 12. You know what I mean? She used to be like, you can, mommy sick because you think you're sick.
That's
right. Like, it could be food. It could be food poisoning. It could be anything.
Now that you feel better, now that you realize
now that you're good, go ahead and get
realize.
these dishes. Thank you, Jesus. Get the dishes.
No, that's real though, because sickness comes in lieu of charge, and our body is electric and photovoltaic, meaning that we're full of light and full of electricity.
Right.
So when our charge drops below, think about your car. It ain't gonna start if a certain amount of juice don't get into that thing. So if it's low, now viruses is like, now this is a neighborhood conducive to our development.
Right.
Gentrification. What you think that is? It's gentrification in your
like
body.
That Mucinex commercial when they move in and like, oh, this is lovely
Phyllis.
This is amazing Phyllis.
Shop.
Set up shop. Yeah, so you gotta make it uncomfortable
for the virus. For well, not so much for the virus, but you want to create an environment that's not conducive to the induction of the creation of certain viral bodies.
The viral rate.
Exactly. You can just be raping. You
need a rape whistle. You need like a body rape whistle.
The
viral rate. Because you need to stick that point. Because you say it in a certain way to people and they get it. They're like, I don't want to be virally raped.
Nah. What do you think a needle is?
Everything was something understandable. You know what I mean?
A needle, you rape like we rape our children when we vaccinate them.
Facts. I don't vaccinate.
You got a needle and you telling me we talk about all this content stuff, right? Content. Did you get content from your child? Did you say, hey, I'm about to stick you with this needle, and then the kid was like, you know what, mama, I trusted you this long. I'm going to trust you now.
Nah, because no kid is consenting to none of them needles.
They hollering. They running.
They actually confused on why you letting this happen. They usually give you that look like,
and your relationship, what do you think the chip on the shoulder come from between parents and children for the rest of their life?
A lot of these grudges, like them shots, man.
Yeah. You stuck me like Pretty Tony.
Them shots.
From Superfly. Like, no, man. You can't.
And later on in life, I did consent to like 1 million shots from the government when I joined.
We all joined that.
But that's because you was raped as a child with the damn thing. You know,
government raping was normal. Like, oh, Uncle Sam, he raped me too.
You know, I was already raped 2 times. I was what's it now? You know what I'm saying? I got to get this job. I got to go out of town.
He just gave you a check for the raping. At least they paid you. It was like Harvey Weinstein. It was like Harvey Weinstein. All right, so let me ask you this, because we're all really big fans of. I know, man, you know personally, Dr. Phil Valentine or Reverend Phil Valentine.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so I've heard you say some things about the sun and about that being the true source of energy and how you receive. That's the real food of this planet or for us.
That's right.
And so there was a big speech he gave called Somatic Death. Are you familiar with Somatic Death? The 10-hour monstrosity of a lecture. So I just wanted you to share with the people a little more on that. Because a lot of people do think that it is really just, no, you just have to eat right.
No, Phil Valentine, I would have to definitely give a big shout out to and credit in regards to him putting it out before social media went crazy back in 2014, 2016. This was in the early 2000s where he used a term that I would say called light code lockdown.
Right.
That was the term he would use, light code lockdown. And what he was trying to say was that the problem that we're having is not something you can fix with a diet because it's not a diet issue, it's a light issue.
Right.
So to give people, to put it in perspective, if I had a flashlight and I turned out the lights in the room and I shined the flashlight on my hand and y'all saw a shadow appear on the wall and I said, ooh, look at that stain. And then in lieu of that, you like, let me go grab some bleach and some Brillo and scrub this stain off the wall. No matter how hard you go, that shadow ain't going nowhere. Because it don't got nothing to do with the wall or disease or stain. It's a byproduct of a light phenomenon that is occurring that you're seeing. So if you want to remove that shadow, turn the light out or move the hand out the way.
Right.
So I think that's what he was really getting at. He was trying to get people to understand you're fighting the wrong battle here.
Right.
You need to focus on the frequencies, the television, the computer, the flicker. People don't even know that there's something called flicker on your phone and your computer.
Yeah, it pulsates.
Yeah, pulsates. You see it.
I used to have seizures, and they were like, it was from
the flicker.
Yeah, when I was like, 6th grade or something like that. And they were like, how much? First thing out the doctor's mouth was like, how much video games and computer has he been sitting in front of? I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh yeah,
it's the flicker.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
Pulsate you out.
And if y'all don't believe us right now, look at a movie who has a shot of a TV screen in the film. Look at a TV in a film. It's always
Yes,
flickering.
right.
It's a pole. You can see it when a camera's on it.
Right,
You
right.
see what I'm saying? You can't see it with your own eyes though. So you got that flickering mechanism, you got the lights, you got a lot of those things. So he was definitely very instrumental in warning the people on the oncoming disaster. It hadn't even settled yet.
No, he was
Way
very
ahead.
much way ahead.
Oh, he's always
because now it's
he's
just coming
always
back
ahead.
around, and I'm like, Phil was dropping this, but
Light, cold,
most people didn't even sit
lockdown.
through that thing was so long, man. Most people
Man,
was like 10
I
hours.
come from the old school where I could sit in front of 9-hour lectures and be like, "Where's part 2?"
Yeah.
Like I just soak it all up.
Well, those old guys was like that. Anytime I go and watch those older videos, those VHSs, whether it be C. Freeman, whether it be
C. Freeman,
Bobby,
C. Freeman took all day.
all
and
day.
if you showed any sign of impatience, he'll shut it down.
He
Be
seemed
like,
mean
"Go."
almost. He seemed like, what's wrong?
Because he was like, "Yo, this that. You know what I had to do to get this work, and now I'm about to give it to you. You better take this, with some level of respect." But rising power to C. Freeman L.
Yes, sir. Yes,
powerful, powerful elder.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's pretty much what he was talking about with that, and that we're fighting the wrong battle. So that's not to take a disagree with anything Dr. Sebi was on. I'm an avid Dr. Sebi supporter, and I keep his message on fire. That's what I do. I'm dedicated to that. But I know that even he told you that because he said, Mama was butt naked in the jungle. Mama was outside with no clothes on. That's his number one. It wasn't herbs. It wasn't a veganism and plant-based and nutritional guide. It was butt naked mama was who he praised.
Butt naked mama.
Butt naked mama.
Which one of the original deity figures, right? Is the woman's body.
That's
naked,
what I'm saying. Who doesn't want to
butt
see
naked
butt
mama?
naked mama walking around in the jungle
I love
happy?
it.
I do. I'd be healthy.
Yeah, I'd definitely be healthy.
You know what
I
I'm
actually
saying?
said it to him. I was like, you know what brings me more? Nothing brings me more joy usually than just, butt naked mamas just enjoying themselves.
Man, you need to see one. You need to take
nothing sexual.
You
Just
need to
enjoy
take
themselves.
a butt naked mama in the sun and then see how she do.
Oh yeah, I've been down to islands. It's good times.
She loves it. They love it. Women have to, cause my big shout out to my queen, Marie. They know
She
as
just had a
Oracle.
birthday pass, right?
That's right.
Happy
That's
birthday,
right on the
happy
4th
birthday.
Piscean. You
Yes,
know what
yes,
I'm
yes.
saying? She has she on Instagram as Trap with Oracle, so I implore all of y'all to follow her, support her. She's a songstress, getting into her music career right now, real hard.
You
and
got a
heavy.
record ready, man. We up here, man.
Oh nah, she definitely. We got records already, so we're gonna do that. When I started telling her, I was like, "You need to put your titties in the sun." She was like, "Man, y'all hotel cats, boy. Y'all got every angle." No, I'm not. I'm like, no, for real. Like,
Put your titties in the sun.
your breast is always covered. Like, that's the problem. You need to introduce it back. And she started doing it, and she was just like, "Oh my god."
The bras unhealthy.
That's all she
anyway.
wanted.
It's creating all types of cancers and
You putting them in a headlock.
You just squeezing cutting the circulation
You
off.
putting your
and
breast in a headlock.
then they
Niggas
fall off
not
and
meant to
you
be
get-
in no
And
headlock.
see, it was always
Then they
told
cut your
as a
titties.
girl that if you don't wear a bra, then you're gonna have saggy titties later. And it's like, no,
It's the
mine
opposite.
ain't dropped. Like,
You know what you can do?
I
You
said mine ain't dropped.
Yeah, I got
If
like
you
3
exercise
bras,
and stay
real
fit, you
talk.
can keep the chest cavity.
And I only
like
wear
raised.
one
You'll
if
be
I'm
fine.
going to a formal event with white people.
Yeah, that
Black folks don't care.
they prove even the mammograms, the smashing down of the breast and the
Yeah,
mammograms
like,
is
what
bad
is
for you, and
Yes.
it's causing a lot of
I
problems.
mean, you can look at a mammogram like you'll do that. Like you really.
If they told me
put it
they're
in a
doing that to my
vice.
balls, that's not happening. There's no way you get.
I don't even
I'm
want
not
you
getting
talking
it.
about
Are
that.
you sliding balls thrice dust into the
Nah,
mammogram thing?
bro.
No.
Nah. What they tell you to do? They tell you turn your head and cough. They know what it is.
That's
all. Like we ain't even touching
That's
them.
tough enough. You know, that's a
I have a question. I know it's a little bit off.
So yeah, sunlight is of utmost importance. We're gonna get into some of the herbal aspects and everything of the coronavirus as well, because I know people get like, "What do we do? What else can we do?"
Yeah.
Because even though I'm saying sun and go outside, they ain't believing that.
well. Hit
They
the
like,
herbal aspects because we got probably. I forgot this clock is backwards.
Yeah, I got one.
Get the
quick-
question.
No, I was just
Just
gonna
wanna
say,
make sure we get-
my bad. Well, one thing I've been noticing a lot of people that have been trying to get into a plant-based diet. I know it's a little off subject, but I was trying to see what could someone eat where you can still, keep a good mass about yourself.
Oh
and
yeah,
still,
very good question. Very good question. Well, personally, I provide a product called duckweed.
Okay.
Duckweed, which is my Ionic Bionics product. It contains duckweed in there, which is the fastest growing flowering plant on the planet. They grow in all freshwater environments from here to Kemet, India, and back. And it's a powder, and it contains between duckweed, chlorella, and phytoplankton, which is another product that I carry. They all contain anywhere between 50 and 70% protein inside of the powder per gram. Okay. In addition to B12, in addition to omega-3. So you need something to bulk up. I would definitely suggest my duckweed. But I would say hemp powder, hemp seed, coconut oil. You gotta eat. Just because you vegan don't mean you need to be nibbling on iceberg lettuce.
Right.
Just licking the dew off of it.
Lettuce.
You know what I'm saying? But no, you know they go to the worst one when they go.
Iceberg lettuce.
Nobody goes fully functional and be like, okay, I'm going vegan, I'm gonna eat the best. No, they eating potato chips, french fries, iceberg lettuce, mustard sandwiches with Wonder Bread.
Not mustard.
And also, like, I've noticed a lot of people complain about, they don't know, everything that they are eating, they're always hungry. So just, are there any foods that you would recommend where, you can curb your appetite a little bit?
Oh, yeah. So I have here today my C3. This is Conjur's Crispus Concentrate. What this is a concentrated tea blend where it's actually like 60 cups of tea. It's a whole month supply of tea every day, morning and night in one bottle. Okay. Take a tablespoon, you drop it in water. You could put more in there, you can make it more concentrated, but sea moss is a great inhibitor of the appetite because it holds 200 times its weight in water. So when you consume it, it'll absorb all that water, you'll feel the bulking of it, and your appetite will drop. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah, so the duckweed will definitely take your appetite away too. That's another one. Phytoplankton. Most of our appetites are there because we're constantly eating a bunch of food devoid of nutrients. And because of the fact that there's no nutrients there's still a deficit. So you're like, I need to eat more. Okay. That's like you pumping gas in your car, but it's not filling the tank up. It's just going up like three little things, and then you got to put more in, and it goes up another 3, and then you find out you done spent $200 on gas just to get it full.
Right.
Because there's a leak in there somewhere.
It's definitely something that if I just eat mostly produce out of the produce section, I'll end up hungry in a few hours.
Oh yeah. Got to get the nutrients.
It don't matter what I eat.
And it comes from the frequencies too. They dehydrate you. They mess with your leptin receptor, which I didn't even get into. And leptin is the molecule that creates satiation. Satiety is you being full and being satisfied. So if you neutralize satisfaction and you don't know what it is to be satisfied, you're going to always need more.
And that creates, because that's a consumer, that's the consumer energy right there, just in general. That's it. You never feel, and a lot of people, I like that, they just never, no matter what they do, they never feel
fulfilled. That's right.
It makes more sense when this artificial. Well, it's just this artificial environment. We used to construct things differently in the past that we worked well within our environments and tried to build our structures and our culture around our environments, as opposed to now where we just seem to construct this artificial thing on top of the whatever we're in, and just force our wheel onto the environment. And now the environment even seems to be responding in ways that
it's responding.
And so vaccine resistant strands of STDs.
Definitely.
There's all types of things that are.
Y'all know the bugs are becoming
super bugs.
Oh yeah. Because the environment will win out. We are of the environment, so the environment will overcome at some point, and we can't beat.
The environment is always winning. We're just not aware of it until it starts knocking us upside the head. Then we pay attention to the environment. But the whole time it's on point. Them squirrels is in them trees, bro.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah, I didn't mean to curb where you were going with coronavirus, but
no. So
we got like 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. So let me wrap it up. So pretty much what's happening with the coronavirus is the fact that it's hijacking a system in your body called the ROS system, renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, which deals with managing the blood pressures of your body and the fluids of your body. Your kidney produces renin, your liver produces angiotensinogen, the renin cleaves the angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1, and then ACE, y'all heard of ACE inhibitors, that enzyme in your lungs turns it from angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. Now, there's also an ACE2 enzyme. The corona uses that as a means to enter inside of your cell. So you get infected because they are able to get inside. So the best way to deal with viruses that might have gotten in you is by preventing viruses from getting in the cell. And you do that by neutralizing its glycoproteins, which are its spikes, the things that make it the coronavirus. All viruses got glycoproteins sticking out from its skin, and they use that to get inside. So you have to neutralize that, and there's a collection of herbs and natural plants and fruits that provide lignins and molecules that inhibit that from happening.
Okay.
One herb that Sebi stood by avidly that I would suggest would be something called palo guaco. Palo guaco is a bronchodilator, and it will help. You got pomegranate. You got all of the fresh herbs, the oreganos, the basils, the thymes. They all help.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What
Then
other fruits?
all the dark berries,
Okay.
which are called anthocyanins. That's what makes them blue and purple and red and everything like that. Gingers, and I'm giving everyday things people can just get from the store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to get into herbs specifically, then you would get into stuff like skullcap. There's one called bupleurum. I mean, I could go on all day. And if you go to my channel, I've done coronavirus videos for over a month now. I've been doing them. And after I actually put out a formula, the next day CNN dropped an article where the Chinese government released a formula that they said been helping. And the formula was 3 items, 2 of which was herbs that I was talking about in my presentation.
Okay.
So if they themselves is using that and getting success with it, then I must know what I'm talking about. So I would tell everybody, check out my Patreon, which is KT the Arch Degree, my YouTube channel, which is also KT the Arch Degree, and my IG, which is KT the Arch Degree, all of them. Same name, and you'll find all the different information I have on this subject matter and the solutions. But number 1 solution, sun. Number 2 solution, hydration. Y'all need to be drinking a gallon a day. Number 3 solution, put that feet in that grass and that earth to get that magnetic feel right. Because magnet, light, water, sun is all that matters. I need a mirror.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, brother. We appreciate you coming to the show.
I saw you have a book as well.
Oh yeah. So
plug everything you got.
Yeah,
man.
I got a book, My Journey with Dr. Sebi. This is by Abelardo Guerrero, better known as Mr. G. You can find him on YouTube under Abelardo Guerrero. And you can find him on Instagram under Mr. G's photo. He is actually the guy that was with Sebi the last years of his life and was responsible for those last events. Y'all see all these footage of there's like 1 million views and everything. He was his right-hand man. Sebi confided in him a lot of information, and this is the book he wrote about the experience. So if y'all want some extra info on Dr. Sebi that y'all just cannot get through social media or anything else, this is a great book, and I support it 110%. Like I said, my queen's social media is Trap with Oracle, like in the trap, with Oracle, like the Matrix.
Yeah.
And I say follow her, support her, please, because supporting her supports me. You know what I mean? Women take care of their men, and then I'm able to do all this fancy stuff for y'all. So, y'all got to give her the love as well. I also want to shout out Mama Pill, greenleaf-herbs.com. That's where you'll find Oxyhemo, which is the product that saved my life as a baby when we first got hooked up with Sebi in the first place. So other than that, I believe that might be everything. YouTube, IG, Patreon. I'm on Twitter. Everything's KT the Arch Degree though, so you can't miss it.
For sure.
Man, that was good right there.
.net, of course. KTtheArchDegree.net is the website.
All right.
.net is the website.
Baby Longway, do you want to say bye to the people? We about to get out of here.
Well, y'all will hear from me next week. We was letting KT have all the shine today. So.
Oh
It's
man,
like I did get to do my thing.
oh man,
You're good.
Women gonna get me.
I love this information that I've been getting, especially by being a part of the show. So.
I thank you for your additions too, being able to confirm this info as well. 'Cause I just talk, but confirmation is everything.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. D. Mose, you last final words, brother.
Yeah, I want to appreciate you for coming out again. I got some more questions for you
Oh,
offline.
man, we gotta do a part 2.
Definitely.
Listen, we in town. You already know.
Yeah, I'm coming here every week.
You already know. Let's do
You got it.
So yeah, we are going to get out of here. Thrice, man. Say bye to the people, brother.
Hey man, I was extra quiet in the interview. I was doing technical work, but I like the way KT was giving it up. You know what I'm saying? So Thrice does out.
All right. So that is the Street Gospel Show for the day, 3/8/2020. This is Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. We got the Neferteria Show coming up next. She always has some good topics, someone interested to talk to. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's my birthday week, so turn up, everybody, for me. It's Mario Day, March 10th, you know what I'm saying? Also the International Day of Awesomeness. You can check that, that's true. It's Chuck Norris's birthday and Osama bin Laden's. So, yeah, we blow shit up and we go hard around here. So, yes, all on the same day, and Timberland. But anyway, so let's, it's a mix. Interesting people. So, we gonna get up out of here, man. Y'all be cool. This is Mace's The Player's Way. We gonna play this and get up out of this thing. Y'all be easy. Bye.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!